let me tell you a little bit about this laminator. The QFun laminator, it's compact, tucks away really easy, super easy to operate with the on and off and the mode based on the thickness of your laminate sheets. And then inside here, it even comes with its own paper trimmer. It comes with a corner rounder and a stapler and some extra blades too. So all kinds of little bonuses that make this laminator even more fun to have. All right, and the projects you can make are limitless. Just your imagination. So let's get started. Hi friends, Katie Pertiet from KatiePertietDesigns.com. Thanks for joining me to craft today. I wanted to put together a little project to share with you using my new laminator. Want to show that it's not just for laminating your ID cards and that kind of thing, that there's really some fun projects you can do. And some of my new products with Arden Creative Studio work especially well with that. So today I'm going to design a card, and I'm going to be using the Postage Essential craft dies, the Page Starters paper pad, as well as the Arden laser cuts with my QFun laminator. So let's get started. What I did to kind of prep for this is I took papers from this paper pack. So looking here to the coral papers. The back side is the stripe that I cut down to 4x6. And then I used a roughly 3x5 section to cut for my card design. And then I'm going to use the postage die without the inside, so it's just going to cut the shape. And I'm going to cut out a shape here and get started. Okay, you can see that I cut out the edge, and I've got a really nice postage edge that's going to go through my frame here. And then what I'm going to do is take a pencil. I'm going to kind of position, and this is, I like to say it's organic because it's not like perfectly straight, like machine made. This is by hand. And so it's a little askew, but that's okay. So if I just mark those two corners, that will help me indicate where to position my frame. And now once I have the cut through on the cardstock done, I can actually go bigger, but this just helps me set it in the right place so that I can overlay my card once I have the design in the middle here. All right, so it's all cut, and now I have my center. And then I will just take this over to my cutting table and make the opening a little bit bigger, just so that I don't have to be exact in my lining up. Okay, now that I've got my little opening, I'm going to put together a little cluster that I'm going to run through the laminator. I'm already getting a little stuff in it. These laminating sheets can be kind of staticky, so gotta be careful. All right, so I'm gonna look here and think of what branches I want to use, and I'm gonna go with this one here. And you have to be really careful when you're punching out the laser cuts because they're really fine. There's just a few tabs holding them in place. So if you just kind of push on them and pull, you'll get the whole leaf out. And then I'm gonna go with a butterfly. And I'm gonna look at my card design here and think of how I want to arrange this cluster that's going to peek through this window. All right. I want to overlap. Shows a little bit more depth. If I can overlap my butterfly, kind of like that. So I've got these little 4x6 sleeves that I'm going to use as my laminating pocket. So I'm going to set this in here, and you're going to see in a minute why these laser cuts and the laminator were like match made in heaven. So all I'm going to do is stick it in the laminator and let it feed through. And then it's going to pop through on the other side. And patience here as it comes through. And there we go. So the wonderful thing, they're double-sided laser cuts. So you're going to have the image on both sides. So I want the card to look like this on the front. And then when you're inside the card, you're still going to see it. Right? So awesome. Okay. And actually, I'm going to sandwich it. So what you're going to see on the other side is kind of a little framed image. So next step is I'm going to power off my laminator, and I'm going to trim down my laminate. I'm going to leave plenty of extra room so that I don't mess up, because believe it or not, I have been known to mess up a time or two. So let's leave a lot of extra room, just because you can always take away more, but you can't add it back in, right? Okay. So the first thing I want to focus on is attaching the cover. So we can definitely take some more off. So especially on this side, just trim away and come back again. Looks like I got a little dust in there too. Really have to be careful of all the flex that you have around, because the laminator will take it all in. So looks like this side and the bottom have some trimming to be had. Just going a little bit at a time. Better to be cautious. Okay, then I'm going to glue this guy down. You know what, I still a little more trimming. All right, there. I think that's gonna look nice. Okay, time to get to gluing. All right, I'm gonna just adhere some glue to the back side of the card frame. And because we are going to mat another paper on top of it, it doesn't matter if you see the glue or not. I just want to be sure I get a good adhesion, and then make sure it looks good from the front. A little more glue got in there, but that'll dry clear. Okay, now I want to put my card. And for this one, I do want to be careful of how I'm positioning. It's like, okay, what is going to matter most to me? Well, what's going to matter most to me is that the front look right. Me and my organicness can wreak a little havoc, I suppose. So just add some glue here to the back side of the card. along with the laminate. And then I'm going to turn it over and kind of want it to be as squared up as I can with the front. Okay, so there is the front of the card, but I'm actually gonna take this a little bit further. I'm gonna push that. Can I push that over a little bit? Yeah, not really. All right, looks fine. The butterfly gives us movement. It goes with the angles of the striped paper, and it looks nice on the inside as well. Okay, so how I'm gonna take this further, let's see here. All right, what I wanna do is add a sentiment. So I think I'm gonna go with grateful and put it over like that. Now I'm going to tack it down with some glue, but then I think I'm gonna take it up to my sewing machine and sew it. Let's hope that the sewing machine will be happy with all these layers of paper, because usually I just sew one or two. It's not too many, won't be too terribly thick, but I think it'll add a nice little touch to the card. And then I think I'm gonna need to do my inside a little different, because I'm wanting to keep this as the inside of the card. So I think I'll make like a hinge card. So let's see how this turns out. Okay, so it worked. I did the sewing around the one frame and then around the outer frame, and I left a few strings, not super long, but I like, again, the look of the strings and the handmade feel to it. Now I have a piece of paper for the back. I have marked it to be 4 3/8 by 6. And the thought here is that I'm going to create kind of an indented, a hinged back to my card. So let's hope that all my measurements are correct and this works according to plan. So I'm gonna take my little folder tool here to score, and I did mark it so it would be oh great, it looks like maybe I didn't cut it perfect. Okay, there we go. So on the 4-inch, and I'm just going to slowly, because I don't know if it's just me or my bone folder kind of slides. Is that just me? I think it's just me. All right, I'm gonna do it this way just to make sure I don't make a total hot mess of all this. Okay, there we go. All right, so I have created my backside, and what I wanna do is kind of trim from where you can see that I scored it, I want these to be kind of on an angle so they don't hang over. And then I'm just going to fold where I scored it and then crease it down so it's a really good fold. And now here's the true test to see if my measuring was right. Yeah, that's gonna work. Okay, so now what I wanna do, and if, you know, anything hangs over, I can always put it on the paper cutter and clean it up so it looks all fresh. All right, so add a little bit more glue on this hinge. And then I'm gonna take my cover and I'm going to position that right on there. And I've got my hinged card. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry for a couple minutes. All right, I gave it a minute or two, let it all dry up, and I trimmed it up all nice and clean. And there is a super fun, super easy 4x6 card with the laminator and the laser cuts that are two-sided that make a window card easy, fun, and beautiful. I hope you've enjoyed this little craft project, and be sure to like and subscribe and hit the notify bell so that you're notified the next time that I'm sharing some crafts. Happy crafting!